Hello, welcome to my walkthrough of the Module 2 for Flatiron final project using Sinatra. So my project is a very simple users and albums MVC. So there's a user who will have many albums, and the albums belong to a user. And we can have multiple users and multiple albums, which are all in the table. The schema is right over here. So a few of these didn't end up getting used, but we have an albums which has a user ID which it belongs to. An album will have a name and a genre, and then a user will have a name, but we ended up going with username for login purposes, and a password. And so moving on to, well, we can just pull up the shotgun, just run it right away. So using shotgun, we can pull up the home page. And this was done using a little bit of CSS with a nice blur in the background here. Just grabbed a picture and made it the background for everything. So this is album land. And we have user authentication. So we'll make a new user for this, but we can see right now that there are already users, some random users right here. And users will have a album, albums that they create. And each album will have, the name. That's the name right there. And the genre. This is the Dave-like genre. And so we can go back to the home page here and make our own user. So we have to sign up with the username and password. So we can sign up with, I guess Dave's already been used, to be John. Password, John. So upon logging in, it'll take you to your home page. It'll sign you in and take you to your home page and show you what albums you have, but you don't have any right now. You can click here to create a new album. You can see all other albums. You can see all the other users, and you can even see, you can even edit your profile. Now this option did not come up when we viewed Dave's profile because we were not logged in as Dave. So if I go to a different user, Sam for instance, we don't have the option to edit. So we can go back to our profile. So now here we have the option to edit, and we can easily become John 1. So now we're John 1. That's our username. So we need to create an album. We don't have any albums yet. This takes us to album/new, and our album will be John's album. And this will be a pop album. So this takes you to the album page, the album show view, albums, and then the ID of the album. The album is John's album, the genre is pop. We, as the owner of this album, can edit this album. We'll go back to our profile. We'll see that here's our albums, John's album. We've just created it. We'll go to John's album again. We'll edit this album. Let's pick an artsy name called John the Beginning. So it'll take us back to the album page. Now it's John the Beginning. We can go back to our profile and we'll see it updated there. We can go to all albums. And these are all the albums that have ever been made. So that is it in a nutshell. We can run through the code now. Start with application controller. Pretty simple user authentication. Sign up. We create a new user using the parameters in the sign-up page. If the save is successful, we will set the session ID, session user ID hash to equal this current new user ID and redirect them to their home page, which is the same little block that we use upon a regular user logging in. If you go to log in, it'll do the same thing once it's found you. For users then, here, I guess we can go by our views. For user views, we have new, which just creates a new user if you're signing up. Show, this is the page that'll show for each album. So if I click on, or for each user, so I go back to all users, click on user. It does a little check to see if we have any albums, which I understand we probably shouldn't be doing all this logic in here, but we have. Checks to see if we can edit the profile, which we can't in here, if the session ID is us. And then if it does, if everything's good, then it shows us all our albums in a list right here. Index just shows all the users in a unordered list block, and edit just goes through and gives us the option to change and delete our user here. The one thing I guess we have not done is go back and we can delete a user. So we can go to all users. We can go back to John 1. We can delete. Well, first here, before we do this, let's go over here. The home page has a cool thing. It tells us if we're already signed in, which is nice. Takes us back to our profile. It also has a user logout here. So let's go back to our profile. And when we delete John 1, it'll redirect us back to that home page. So now John 1 has been deleted. And now there's no logout and there's no Groovy. You're already signed in. Just to sign up, sign in. We can view these links even though we are not a signed in user, but John 1 is now gone. So that's the users right there. Albums, pretty much the same. We go through, we edit the album that we receive from the get / edit. Another thing that we can't do is, for instance, right now I can't go to Dave and do / edit. It'll give me an error because I'm not signed in as Dave. Whoa. So after doing a tiny bit of editing, this is what is supposed to happen when you go to edit a user that you are not signed in as. We can go back and show this again. So here's Dave. I do / edit. I'm not signed in for Dave. And it says, oh, you can't view that. Good. This is true for albums as well. So let's go look at albums. And now we are not signed in at the moment. And so if we go to / edit, sorry, gotta click on the album first. So if we go to Big Rocker album, which again, we're not even signed in at all under any profile. If I do this / edit, and we don't even have the option to edit right now here, which makes sense. But if we do / edit, same thing. You can't view that. We can't do this. So in a nutshell, that's all that. We're able to delete when we sign in, or once we've signed in, and we're deleting our own album. It's the same thing as for the edit. Just simple album.destroy. And for editing, it's just using an update on the object with the parameters. And that's essentially it. I have hopes to add in a branch where a user will have a collection of albums so that two users can have the same instance of an album possibly in their collection. Um, but for right now, I just wanted to make sure the project was complete. Anyway, thanks for watching.